That was the first person I met in racing over here. Just I had shaggy hair, and the accent. He goes, "You remind me of David Bowie. You're Ziggy Stardust." And I go, "No, the name is actually Paul." And he just told everyone, and it stuck. And when I tried to move teams and go back to my real name, the team that I moved to had two other Pauls working for them, so Ziggy stuck, and it's been there ever since. And now I am Ziggy. Job title is team manager, and I really oversee most of the logistics, all the testing, hiring of people for the fifth and sixth cars. So really anything to do with what the team does and where we go, all of that side of it.
For Sol was in the beginning was hard to understand him. I think even he's been here for I don't know how long, been in the United States. He has his accent, his New Zealand accent still, right? That was the first thing about him that it make that not shock me, but it was
Yeah, a little south of Idaho. Yeah, no, I was born in New Zealand, but I've spent more years in America than I have in New Zealand. I was started off traveling and spent 7 years traveling the world, and then ended up in Europe. And a friend of mine was doing Formula One over there, which led me to come in here to do racing. So that's how it all the big circle.
and also he's so proud to be of his country. The whole time he was showing me pictures how beautiful the country is, how the rugby team is.
I fell into it. It was nothing that and even when I first started doing it with the friend of mine that hired me, I did it for a year, and at the end of that year I actually quit and went back to New Zealand, and I was on my way back to Europe and came through again, and they stopped me and said, "Hey, can you give us a hand again?" But it wasn't that I didn't like it, I just didn't think I knew enough about it, so I thought, there's other stuff that I was better at, so I carried on doing that, and then once I got back for the second stint, I was done, so I was in.
We have a lot, but it's not like something that we can tell here in camera. But we have a lot. We spent two years together. He's still with the team, managing some part of the team. So yeah, we still talk each other a lot. Yeah.
It was really, I was actually just heading home to New Zealand, and I'd met some people from Los Angeles, and I stopped to meet them, and then my friend who was also a New Zealander, who had now come to run a team in United States, he was there, so I went out to dinner with him and his wife, and so really it just fell into place, and it was a good little group, so we were doing Super Bs, Can-Am, Atlantic cars all back then, and then eventually, I think 84 was my first year where I moved to the IndyCar side of it. Yeah, no, I've been blessed in a way. I started out, and once I decided to go IndyCar racing, I went to Albuquerque, and it was for 3 races really to just do that, which turned into a full-time job, and worked with a team called Gallus Racing out of there, where I stayed for 10 years, and we had a good group of drivers, mainly Al Unser Jr., so had a good run with him, really enjoyed working with him, it was good fun, and then I came to Indianapolis, worked for PacWest Racing, and spent 10 years there. Chief mechanic really, and moved into the management side of it, running their Indy Lights team. They gave me that opportunity, and then I stayed on the management side ever since then. So from PacWest I went to the Champ Car World Series and did 3 years as director of operations over there. So I was on the other side of the fence, which was very different, going from a normal job which you're used to up and downs every day in motor racing to one that sort of was like a real job. You sort of had a starting time and a finishing line, so it was different, but it was good. I got to enjoy it after 3 years, and then I came to Andretti. I think it's like 10 years ago now. No, I started out, when I started, we used to drive the truck as well, so back in those days, so you're mechanicking, driving the truck. I was Goford, that's you start doing right at the bottom, and I've been right through up to the management side of it, so, and they're all good, and they're all different. The management side, it doesn't stop at 6 o'clock at night when you go home. That's the biggest difference, I think, is it's just a constant, whereas the bending over a car at my age is also not a good thing as well. I did pit stops for 20 years and loved doing those. It was, you felt really a huge part of the win if your driver did well, and I also had a few that I didn't do well on too, so so it was both good and bad there. Yeah, no, I've had a few at we had one with Al Jr. We were leading the race, I think, by 25 pits. Last pit stop, we had a pit fire, so I got burnt and helicoptered out to the thing, and I was in hospital. I was so mad, not because I got burnt, but because we lost the race. So, and then I had another one where we came in and we had a good shot at a win. I dropped the wheel nut, cost us time. So those ones there, they never go away. But then I've also had the ones where you've won races and it's been just as well. So, the highs are high, the lows are low, and I think that's what makes me stay in motor racing. I like that side of life. Yep, I got my wife Nikki, and I've got twin boys who are 26, and one of them actually works for the team. He works in the shock department. So Cameron, he's been in motor racing I think for 5 years now. We hired him on, and the last 2 years he's been on the winning car for the 500. So not happy with him because he's won. It took me like I think 15 years to win my first Indy 500. He's won 2 in the last in his first 5 years. So, and then I got a daughter Lauren who is 16 years of age. So yep.
I don't think it will be a good wingman. No, first I have girlfriend. I don't know. I think he not scared of girls, but I think he won't attract a lot of girls. No.
I actually quit motor racing for a couple of years, and I ran a little company, and I was making more money, and it was a regular job, but I just couldn't do it. I kept thinking about it, and I think I love the fact that a lot of people in this business, they want to succeed, and the success level may be way more or less than other people, but at least they'll work hard to try and win or do better. And I like that attitude in life, and I think that's what's driven me back to it all the time.
But he's a great guy. He's a great, in general, great guy. Always smiling. You never see him like angry or pissed with anyone. He's always like smiling to everyone.
I don't know. I mean, I think life. I was blessed by falling into what I've got, and I like the fact that I've been given opportunity to do things that I never would have had a chance of. I've worked for people. I get to fly in private jets at times and things that you would never even think about. So I've been blessed with a lot of that, and I think to myself, when the time does come, I look back now and I go, I had a great run. It's been good. I've been healthy. A lot of good people, a lot of good memories. So a lot of great stories too.